Finals for the 2004 ICT. We're first going to do the undergraduate finals, which is Harvard versus Illinois. Illinois has a one-game advantage. So those teams can come up. If you're playing the D2 final, you can't be here. Also, the D2 final will be going on right now. So if you want to watch that instead, you also need to leave now. Who's playing the D2 final? UCLA and Illinois. Usually has a one-game advantage.
Yes.
We like that.
We're beating Harvard through 5 minutes. Huh?
I'm recording.
Whatever, yeah, I just pronounced dead time.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting.
Let's just start with the buzzer check. Read in. Give your name. Can everybody hear me when I'm facing the front? Reading questions like this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Andrew. Mike.
Severe.
I'm gonna make it.
Okay. All right, 10 points the first team to find a clock.
My watch for 10.
That is fine, not a clock.
How many quiz bowlers does it take to organize something? Yeah, delegation like well, Compton institution.
No, I guess this means
Apparently there are 3 fans of College Quiz Bowl.
That's right.
Does Harvard D count?
No. At one time, I think we ended up getting beaten by them twice in that same tournament, but
They neg 9 times, I hope.
I remember the first time I went into dance that it told me that Persian wasn't an ethnicity.
Dan Sugden?
Yeah. I'm like, no, it is. And this girl on his team corrected him. He's like, what, it's not like 300 BC. You can just me later about that discussion.
I think Rob gave me a look there. I don't know if he gave me a look. Would see. It's just a quiz bowl.
You zoom in on the question.
That'd be an ingenious way of cheating if there ever was one.
You can see.
I'm gonna lose all feeling in this hand in about 3 minutes.
Yeah, somewhat. Oh, yeah.
Because I was like really early on. It's like when they've been saying something like that. No, somebody mentioned Rob in a poll as worst person they've never beaten.
Probably Ken.
Ken didn't fill it in.
He didn't?
No. Ken hurt.
I know he doesn't like Rob. He's told me this.
It's okay, not too many people like Ken.
Rob?
Ken.
Ken, yeah.
I'm keeping it reasonably steady, right? Minor shakes can be edited out with software.
You're gonna take the time to edit it out with software?
I don't know. I want to load up a computer with fake software. I mean, bootleg software and live like a king.
A software king?
Yes, they would call me Armando.
Can you see the question?
So,
He's blocking.
2004 Division I undergraduate final, first game. 9 minutes on the clock. Toss up one. The main force gathered at hard time while Benjamin Grierson led a diversionary cavalry raid on the Urbana. David Porter guided the river troops that routed John Gregg, William Walker, and Joseph Johnston, leaving John C. Pemberton without support defense of the city. July 4, 1863 saw the surrender of
Vicksburg.
Correct. It describes the evolution from overt brutal controls like public executions toward more subtle psychological pressures. For 10 points each, name his book, subtitled The Birth of the Prison.
Yeah, sure. Discipline and punishment.
Correct. This French social critic wrote Discipline and Punishment. Foucault's death left his 4-part treatise on the history of this subject.
Sexuality.
Sexuality. 30 points. Toss up. This nation's second most populous city, is a place.
Kyrgyzstan.
15. They can be used to rewrite periodic functions in terms of sines and cosines. For 10 points each, name these series and frequently used in the analysis of waves.
Fourier series.
This name is given to the property of Fourier series to always
ABC.
overshoot in simple discontinuity with an error of slightly over
Mighty
9%.
wind with incredible people.
Name.
Captain.
Gibbs. No.
Correct. This function, often seen in Fourier analysis, is defined as 1 x equals 0 and sine of x divided by x everywhere else.
Sync. It's a sync function.
Sync. Yeah, you're right. Sync function.
That's correct. 30 points. Awesome. Ulfilas for the Visigoths, King Sejong for the Koreans, King of Urbana-Champaign for the Thai people.
Like invented the alphabet?
Yes, for 15. The Cretan boy is typical of the late style of these sculptures. For 10 points each, name these freestanding Greek sculptures of naked male youths.
There's Korai. Like Koros,
Yes.
boys, Korai.
The introduction of Kuroi appeared to coincide with the reopening of Greek trade with this country in about 672 BC.
You like Egypt?
Captain.
Egypt.
Correct. Early Kuroi and Korai bore this conventional posing of the lips, which, despite its name, resembles a grimace.
It's like it's some kind of smile.
Captain.
The Greek smile.
The archaic
Smile. Let's get
20 points. Toss-up. He used the pseudonym Gulielmus Rossius for his response to Martin Luther. He spent the last year of his life in prison where he wrote the Dialogue of Comfort against Tribulation before being beheaded in 1535 for his opposition to the Act of Supremacy. For 10 points, in this man who refused to attend the coronation of Anne Boleyn, the Lord Chancellor of Penn. Yes.
Nice.
For 10 points each, name these Canadian national parks. This Ontario Park is at the southernmost point of the Canadian mainland and lies along a major bird migration path. Captain. Point Pele. This park on the Peace River has the largest herd of bison in North America.
National Park in
Captain. Wood Buffalo National Park. This site of Hot Springs above the Bow River Valley in Alberta became Canada's first national park. Captain. Bam. No points. Toss up. He is called Daniel Boone, the Boy Ranger, and several times Don Quixote. Senator Joseph Payne tells him he is tilting his windmills when he objects to Clause 40 of a deficiency bill that would cause a dam to be built on Willett Creek, profiting business concerns in the state. For 10 points, he was 90 politician who dropped all.
Mr. Smith.
That's correct. You're eating dinner in the Ottoman Empire. 10 points each. If you were a Muslim, you did not eat this unclean meat, though it was common among Christians in the Balkans.
Pork?
This is the leather mat on which Turkish meals were traditionally served.
No answer.
Sofra. This dessert consists of layers of dough interspersed with layers of sweet nuts.
Baklava.
Yes, 420. Toss-up. It exploited the .IBA vulnerability in unpatched Microsoft IIS server, and for the first 19 days of each month, it tried to infect other servers. From the 20th to the end of each month, it launched a denial of service attack on the White House website. For 10 points, in this 2001 computer worm responsible for the catchphrase.
Melissa?
-5. Catchphrase, hacked by Chinese, a name for a cherry version of Mountain Dew.
Code red.
Correct. For 10 points each, Henry's work by Heinrich Boll. The title won this Lenny Piper, a widow who lives in Cologne.
Group portrait with lady or something, maybe? I know.
Captain. Correct. This 1963 novel portrays post-war West Germany through the figure of pantomimist Hans Schneer.
Hans Schneer, is that the clown? The pantomimist,
yeah.
maybe?
That's
a good point. The fun.
Correct. It depicts three architects who come together at St. Anthony's Abbey on Heinrich Rommel's 80th birthday.
Billiards at 9:30 or something, maybe?
I don't really know.
Captain. Yes, 30. Toss-up. They form an allegorical representation of the Count de Volney's 1791 work, Ruine. They begin with savages on a hunt below a prominent cloud-ringed peak, and end with an abandoned Greco-Roman ruin beneath. Correct. For 10 points each, and these Major League Baseball teams from the genus and species of their mascots were nicknames. Crotalus atrox.
I'm doing so much.
The double race.
Double race.
Diamondbacks. Vacaira nigricans.
That could be diamondback.
Captain.
Yeah, double race.
Marlins. Cyanacita cristata. Captain.
Also that.
Diamondback.
Blue Jays, no points. Toss-up. Though it ends the discussion of Genesis, the first 9 of its 13 books are largely autobiographical. Recounted events include a child's voice that bids the author to take up and read a renunciation.
Confessions.
Yes, for 10 points each, name these cabinet members of Harry Truman. Appointed Secretary of War by FDR in 1940, he became the strongest advocate using the atomic bomb against Japan.
Stimson?
He served as the first Secretary of Defense from 1947 to 1949, years committed suicide by jumping out a window.
Dawson?
Forrestal. This Treasury Secretary helped establish the International Monetary Fund before being appointed Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Captain.
Marshall?
Vincent, 10 points. Toss-up. One type is described by wave functions of a Gaussian form multiplied by an intermediate polynomial and has a ground state energy of h bar omega over 2. And LC's correct for 15. Man A has a long-standing affair with the woman. The woman takes up with man B and leaves man A out in the cold. Man A kills man B. Sound familiar? Give me the identity of one of the players, name the other two for 5 points each. Woman is Dolores Hayes.
Oh, so like it's up from Louis.
Captain.
Humbert and Claire Quilty.
Yes. Man A is Henry Thaw. Captain. Evelyn Nesbitt and Stanford White. Man B is Ichabod Crane, where long-standing affairs read as sparking in the Dutch idiom. Captain.
Brown bones and
That's no answer. Katrina Van Tassel, 15 points. Toss-up. Warned in 1971 allowed the U.S. to buy chromium in violation of UN sanctions against Ian Spence Rhodesia. The 2001, officially the Continued Dumping and Subsidy Offset Act, gives fines levied against foreign competitors directly to American firms, but has been ruled illegal by the WTO. For 10 points, identify these legislative amendments named after Harry and Robert, senators from Virginia and West Virginia. Correct. For 10 points each, the British monarch, whose queen was Eleanor of Aquitaine. Oh,
Henry II.
correct. Alexandra of Denmark.
George?
Edward VII, Elizabeth of York.
Richard?
Henry VII, 10 points. Toss-up. The high priest of Brahma, the grand inquisitor, 2 slaves named Pelusco and Celica, 3 members of the royal council named Don Pedro, Don Alar, Don Diego, and the explorer Vasco da Gama are kissed. Correct. For 10 points each, how many eyes do these creatures from Greek mythology have? A. Daryon. Captain.
6.
Correct. Any of the hecaton chairs? Captain. 100. Steropes.
Maybe they're just huge
Captain.
eyes. 1.
Correct. For 20. Toss-up. They have 3 properties. They contain all elements of the form x comma x. If they contain x comma y, then they also contain y comma x. If they contain both x comma y and y comma z, then they also contain.
These are equivalence relations?
That's correct. For 10 points each, and he's hosts on the Food Network. He kicks things up a notch while preparing spicy food on his live show.
Tabugasi.
Yes. She cooks in real time on 30-minute meals and eats in various cities on $40 a day.
It's like, she's got that big series thing. It's Ray,
Captain.
Ray. Say Ray, Ray.
Yes. This host of Food 911, Food 911, and Planet Food has an ultimate series focused on the best possible dish involving eggs, potatoes, or another mundane ingredient.
This is me. I don't know.
Yeah. Tyler Florence, 20 points. Awesome. It is connected to the Atlantic Ocean via the Strait of Belle Isle and the Caput Strait. Prince Edward Island separates it from the Northumberland Strait, while the Hungwedo and Jacques Cartier Straits flow on either side of Anacostia Island, connected to its namesake river. For 10 points in this Canadian Gulf, of which 5 provinces have a coastline.
St. John.
No. No, St. Lawrence. Awesome. He moved north to Detroit during World War II, where he was discovered working as a janitor by Bernie Bestman. Bestman produced his debut single, Sally Mae, which became a hit because of its flip, Boogie Chillin'. Younger blues fans probably know him best for his performance of Boom Boom during his cameo in 1980's The Blues Brothers. For 10 points, it was Delta Blues legend known as minus 5, Boogie Man.
Hooker.
Yes. 30-20-10, the person. While serving time in Texas in 1932, he chopped off 2 of his toes in an effort to escape champagne duty. This tactic proved unnecessary, however. He was released in a general amnesty the next day.
1942, so like,
Captain.
Machine Gun Kelly.
He may have had an affair with gang member William Jones. His homosexuality makes it unlikely he was ever romantically involved with his most famous partner in crime.
Leading Meadows. Or no, Clyde.
Clyde.
Captain?
Clyde?
No. In 1934, the Texas Rangers ambushed and killed this bank robber along with Bonnie Parker.
Yeah, it's Clyde Barrow?
Yeah,
Barrow.
right there.
Correct. 4-10.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
With Johnny Booker. That's awesome.
Okay. Scores check.
they do 290-65. Sounds right.
Okay, both teams ready for the numbers.
Starting with 15. Starting with 15.
That's good.
Exactly.
Okay, awesome. This group that included Rémi Belot and Pontus de Thiard declared its principle from the Defense and Illustration of the French Language written by Joaquin Duballay, named after a group of 7.
So yeah.
That's correct. There are 6 magic numbers, counting nucleons that are particularly stable, that are less than 100. For 5 points each, give these significant numbers from nuclear physics.
77, 88, 99, 110, 5, and 7.
No points. Next toss. The earliest mention of this city is the Manasa Mangal of the poet Pythias. The earliest British settlement on its site was a 1690 trading post of Joe Charnock. Its fortifications later became known as Fort William and had to be rebuilt following a conflict the British won with the coming of Robert Clive. For 10 points, it was city that in 1772.
Ooh, classic.
Minus 5. Became the colonial capital of British India.
Calcutta.
Correct. For 10 points each, give me an official IUPAC name. Give the more common name of these biologically important compounds. Ethanoic acid.
Acetic acid.
Yes. Ethane-dioic acid.
Citric acid.
Oxalic acid. Carbamide or carbonyl diamide.
Citric acid.
Urea, 10 points. Awesome. The tailless form of this phenomenon is a heave because it results from expansion and contraction. It is indicated by extrusion of underlying rocks and downslope curvature. Its angle of repose is about 25 degrees, since steeper slopes tend not to have the necessary soil cover. For 10 points, in the slowest form of mass wasting it. Correct. For 10 points each, Indian Americans have something else in common. This founder of the College of Chemistry at the University of California is best remembered for his valence theory and generalized theory of acids.
Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis.
Yes, this former senator from Michigan served in 2 presidential cabinets and lost the 1848 presidential election
Lewis
to Zachary
Cass.
Taylor.
Yeah, Lewis.
Captain. Yes. The most conspicuous works of this noted architect include the Woolworth Building, the Minnesota State Capitol, and the U.S. Supreme Court Building.
Cass something. Cass Stern? Maybe.
Captain.
Gilbert.
Yes, for 30.
Sorry.
The Islamic Fundamentalist Party, PAS, was routed in this country's March 2004 elections, losing power in the oil-rich northern state of Terengganu. At the parliamentary level, the National Front kept its majority, re-electing Prime Minister Abdullah Ahmad
Algeria?
Minus 5. Abdullah recently succeeded Mahathir Mohamad as leader of, for 10 points, what country on the South China Sea?
Malaysia.
That's correct. His books include modern poetry, the tradition, and the well-wrought urban. For 10 points each, and is proponent of new criticism who taught at Louisiana State. Yes, Brooks collaborated with this author World Up in Time and Night Writer on the popular textbook on understanding poetry. Johnny Henry books on this novelist of the Reapers in the Unbanquet.
Richard.
Yes, 420. Awesome. His championship ended in Havana, Cuba, against a man who was 9 years younger, 30 pounds heavier, 6 inches taller, and in much better shape. But many believe that he threw the match and mistaking
Lister.
-5. Mistaking belief that Mann Act charges against him, he dropped, who lost to a white boxer. For 10 points, this man who fled the U.S. in those charges in 1912, the first black heavyweight champion of the world.
Frazier?
No, Jack Johnson. Awesome. Homer is an ex-GI who builds a church with some German nuns in the lilies of the field. Harriet is the subject of Emma's matchmaking in a Jane Austen novel.
Smith.
15. His most famous recording, his most famous work, features soprano Pidu Sayao and Williams Park. For 10 points each, name this Brazilian composer.
Villalobos, probably?
Captain. Yes. Sayao recorded the first movement of the fifth of these 9 works. Like every movement in them, it bears 2 titles, aria and cantilena.
Fabian's Brasileiras.
Captain.
Bastianus Brasileiras.
Yes. Villalobos also wrote 14 of these works for various forces, orchestral and choral, whose name is that of the Brazilian country dance.
Oh.
Captain. Koros, 20 points. Pasa. The bearded, the slit-nosed, the dung-danged, the bushy-eyebrowed, the general logopi, the drunkard, the purple-born, the...
The Byzantine Empire?
Yes. Hillary Rodham Clinton isn't the only female senator in the current U.S. Congress. For 10 points each. When this senator replaced NAQT ICT in the Senate in 1986, she became the first Democratic woman to hold a Senate seat not previously held by her husband.
Oh shit. This came up yesterday. It's
Captain.
Rankin?
Mikulski. This junior senator from Maine, a Republican, currently serves as deputy whip. Captain.
Shit, Smith.
Collins. This Louisiana Democrat is the daughter of former New Orleans mayor named Boone.
Warren.
Landrew. No points. Awesome. His story, Falling, is narrated by a stewardess as she falls to her death from a plane. His poem, Strength of Fields, becomes even more famous on January 20th, 1977, but he is best remembered for his 1970 novel set at the wild Kahulawasi River. For 10 points, this poet read at Carter's inauguration, the author of Delivery.
Dickey.
Correct.
Speed.
His 1875 discovery of an element that matched the properties predicted for aluminum by Dimitri Mendeleev was a major factor in the acceptance of the periodic table. For 10 points each, name both this Frenchman and the name now given to aluminum. Captain.
Gilusak and Nickel.
Bobogan and Gallium. For 10 points, name either of the other 2 elements discovered by Bobogan.
Gadolinium and hafnium.
Samarium dysprosium. No points. Awesome. In humans, this structure contains tonsils, peduncles, and a vermis, and it lies just below the tentorium. Divided by deep longitudinal folds called fovea, this structure sends out 1 nerve fiber for every 40 it receives. The
Ganglion.
-5. These afferent fibers include some from the 8th cranial nerve. The majority of neurons in the brain are in, for 10 points, what portion that coordinates balance and movement?
Is this the cerebellum?
Correct. In 1821, Spain signed a treaty, which it later disavowed, granting Mexico independence. For 10 points each, name that treaty.
What was the year?
1828.
Captain.
Mexican independence.
Cordoba. After no Bourbon prince could be found to serve as king, this general's forces proclaimed him Emperor Augustine I in 1822, but he was defeated in exile in 1823. Yes. With Guerrero, this man defeated Capita. He was elected president in 1833 and then seized absolute power.
Is this like Juarez?
Captain. That's no answer. Santa Ana.
Yes.
Oh, voice. Awesome. His magnum opus taught that sacraments are not merely visible signs of invisible grace, but the cause of the grace they signify. The Fourth Lateran Council also upheld the view of the Trinity found in his 4 books and added his name to a profession of faith. For 10 points, and as author of the standard theological text of the Middle Ages, the sentences. Correct. For 10 points each, given a British title of nobility, he was famous in March 2002. Duke of Edinburgh. Captain.
Designate Andrew.
Prince Philip. Earl of Inverness. Captain.
Yes, okay.
Yes. Duchess of Gloucester.
Brady.
Princess Alice, 10 points. Awesome. He led a motorboat ambulance service at Gallipoli, which inspired his 1916 war sketch, Gallipoli. He was already famous for the long poem, Everlasting Mercy, which probably led to his replacement of Robert Bridges in a famous literary post. However, it is for a poem in which, in his saltwater ballads, he is chiefly known. For 10 points.
This is C.P. for Maysfield.
Yes, that's correct. For 10 points each in his modern Native American writers. Her works include the novel Ceremony, the short story and poetry collection Storyteller, and the often anthologized Yellow Woman.
Leslie Mullins. silk coat.
Yes, among his many writings are the Way to Rainy Mountain and House Made at Dawn.
This is a
This author, Yellow Raft and Blue Water, won a National Book Critics Circle Award for his memoir about fetal alcohol syndrome in the Broken Four. Committed suicide in 1997. Captain. Michael Doris, 20 points, last toss-up. In 1908, he discovered carbon suboxide, chemical formula.
This is Otto Deals.
15. Denmark became king in 1905 for 10 points each, all five countries.
Desi Pride. Amazing.
Captain.
Desi Pride.
Norway, what name did he assume? Captain.
I can say
7. What legislative body elected him?
the Denmark, whatever.
Right, the store's name.
That was a great shot. This is two undergrad The agony of defeat.
We will be delaying the start of the overall D1 finals until the conclusion of the D2 final. So if there is a second game of that, people can go watch it.
One in.